Mr. Bello is not in their holding facility. Mr. Bello is facing a 19-count charge of money laundering to the tune of 80 billion naira. Since the commencement of the case against him in April 2024 at the Federal High Court Abuja, the former governor has been absent from court to take his plea. This will be the first time that he is making an appearance at the EFCC office since the commencement of the matter. Celestina Iria, TVC News, Abuja.
Senator Aishat Binani of the All Progressives Congress in Adamawa State is supporting party members with fertilizers and cash for this year's farming season, flagging of the distribution exercise in Yola, the Adamawa State capital. Senator Binani says she believes the gesture will go a long way in boosting food security. Senior reporter Wolabi Adenisi out in this report.
Since her return to Adamawa State a few days ago, Senator Aishat has embarked on humanitarian services. She is reaching out to her party supporters and delegates who stood by her in the last governorship election with fertilizers and cash.
Wherever and solicited for your support, and you have promised me that inshallah Mama, we are going to give you our votes. It was one vote, but an active vote. And you people had that confidence in me to give me just those your singular votes which have made me, which have turned me into a candidate of APC during the 2023 election. Delegate, I have no words to express my happiness. I have no words to say thank you. I have no words to appreciate you.
She explains that the gesture is her token of appreciation to the party loyalist.
I have the feeling, I have a strong feeling that inshallah God will not leave us just like that. We have fought our battle and we have left the rest to Him. I thank you for coming because the information was just sent out yesterday and everybody is here. So that is to show that we are still together.
Shortly after the distribution, the beneficiaries have this to say.
It's a lesson to all our politicians, not only in Adamawa State but in Nigeria, what Senator Aishat Binani is doing to touch the life of the people at the grassroots is something that politicians should learn from.
It is not only during election that a politician is supposed to come for the masses. Even if it's after election, politicians are supposed to be coming in touch like the way she is doing all this while.
The Independent National Electoral Commission is yet to release the election timetable for 2027 general election. But political pundits in Adamawa State are of the view that Senator Aishat Binani's body language shows that she would be contesting for the highest seat in the state.
As political parties wrap up campaigns ahead of Saturday's election, the Labour Party held its mega campaign rally in Benin City as it pushes to win the governorship election in Edo State, supported by top party officials, including the party's 2023 presidential candidate, Peter Obi, and its vice, Dati Baba Ahmed. The party has asked its followers to come out en masse to vote. Governorship candidate Labour Party Olumide Apata wants his supporters to use their votes to chase the PDP out of government house.
The prayer of every papa and mama and say keep better pass, not be so. How quickly they take better, not be to go school, not be to see hospital when they're not well. Never working as your papa, mama, pikin. Anything one concern papa, mama, pikin, we get it.
Let's take a short break, and when we return, it will be time to speak with His Excellency Governor Dauda Lawal, the Governor of Zamfara State. Tonight, we shall be discussing the state of insecurity, the potential and the future of Zamfara State. Stay with us, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. Zamfara State, one of the states in the northwest of Nigeria, has been bedeviled by incessant security challenges, including banditry, terrorism, and the likes. But since his assumption as executive governor last year, Governor Dauda Lawal has been on the saddle to turn around the fortunes of the citizens of the state. But how is the governor doing this? amidst all the staggering challenges. After more than a year in office, how far has the governor gone in curbing the menace of insecurity, as well as bringing economic stability in the state, which will in turn bring hope for a brighter future for citizens of Zamfara State? For this and more, I am joined by the governor of Zamfara State, Dauda Lawal, who joins me from our Abuja studios. Good evening to you, Your Excellency. Thank you so much for coming on Politics Tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alhaji Moki.
Right, so I think I should start with the major success recorded in the area of security, the death of Halilu Sububu. They say he was more than just a bandit kingpin in northwestern Nigeria. And considering what you've been going through as far as banditry is concerned, what does this mean to you?
Well, let me start by acknowledging the fact that Zamfara State for the past 13 years has been facing these security challenges. It is something that we inherited when we took over. However, part of my number one priority has always been tackling insecurity in the state, because without which there will be no meaningful development. And the first thing we did was to take this thing very, very holistic, by engaging all the stakeholders in the state at the local level as well as the state level. And that was one of the reasons why we had to introduce what we call the CPG, that is the Community Protection Guard, which will complement the effort of the conventional security in fighting banditry. And that has really gone a long way in taking care of some of these challenges the state is facing. Now, back to the successes recorded. About 3 days ago, one of the major kingpin called Halilu Sububu was killed by both the military as well as the conventional, as well as the CPG in collaboration. And that has been a major, major success for us. And we're extremely happy because Sububu is one of the leading kingpin in Zamfara State that has large followers as well as a very wide network in terms of sourcing weapons. And I can say that it's a happy moment for all of us, not just in Zamfara, but the entire northern Nigeria, as well as Nigeria as a whole. So it was a good one. And
right.
More are coming.
But one of the major questions that has been raised in the last few days is, will his death reduce rural banditry in the region? I mean, just like you said, this is someone, his influence and pivotal role as a significant gun runner made him one of the most formidable bandits in the region.
Well, like I said, Halilu was a major, major player in that region. And he has large followers. Even the likes of Turuji that has been making noise all over is actually under Halilu Sububu. And now Halilu is gone. Turuji will be the one to follow. And I believe it's just a matter of time. Turuji will also be killed very, very soon. And I'm confident with the way things are going and with the commitment of the security forces, I think it's just a matter of time. Turuji will be history as well.
Right. The Chief of Defense Staff was in Zamfara State. I want you to talk to us about the impact of that visit to your state, especially now that there is a change of in the defense headquarters-led operations in the state.
We were really excited when the Chief of Defense Staff visited Zamfara on Friday. And that shows the level of commitment by the military in terms of fighting this menace that has been a major challenge for Zamfara as well as the entire northern Nigeria. It was a morale booster for all of us. And that has really shown that there's now a very good synergy between the state as well as the federal government in terms of fighting banditry. We are all in it together. And therefore, it was a good thing that he visited Zamfara because that has boosted the morale of the people and the entire Northwest as a whole.
So would you say your meetings with Mr. President early in the year on the security situation in Zamfara State is yielding the desired result?
Absolutely. I remember when I met Mr. President and explained all the situation the Zamfara State is facing, and he made commitment to the fact that something drastic will be done. And I'm happy to say that we're happy with the latest development. He has made that commitment, And that commitment is yielding results in terms of fighting banditry in Zamfara State. So it was a good one.
Your Excellency, I'm sure Nigerians are happy to hear that you have a different perspective about the military, because for a while there's been this back and forth between your government and the military. You had alleged that they lacked the coordination and political will to bring down these terrible individuals. And in response, they say you're being unjustly critical of them. So I'm happy with this relationship. It only speaks to how better synergy, collaborative efforts between federal and local authorities can do magic, especially in securing the lives and properties of citizens. But let's talk about your own personal efforts, because some stakeholders from Zamfara State have blamed your administration and your predecessor of patronage and politicization of the situation. Your government came up with the formation of the state's community protection guards, and recently you just handed over operational patrol vehicles to the police to enhance their response to distressed calls. How far has this initiative gone in finding community-driven ways to address these security challenges?
Oh, very good. Initially, when there was not that kind of synergy between the state and the federal government, I came out and complained, and I made it very, very public to everybody. But right after that, things have changed. There's a new dimension to the whole situation right now, whereby the synergy between the state and the federal government is working very, very well. And I believe this is part of the success story why we're able now to get to a certain level in terms of fighting this insecurity. Now, of course, I had to complain as a governor when there was a kind of, issues between the state and the federal government, where certain negotiations were taking place without my consent. And I felt it shouldn't be the case. And I complained. And after that complaint, now we all came together as one. And like I said, it's yielding result. Very, very effective result for that matter. And let me say this. Yes, there were a lot of issues in the past with my predecessor. In fact, let me say this very categorical. If I were him, I would resign and face all the allegations against me. And that would have been more honorable, because from all the information we're getting, my predecessor was fully involved in some of these banditry issues. Typical is the fact that there was a permanent secretary when his children were abducted. And it was unfortunate that he had to pay ransom through the government house. And it was also very clear, based on all the allegations, that bandits were being kept at government house. There are so many issues. So for me, honestly, if I were him, I'll step aside and face this allegation until I clear my name before I come back and continue my job. That should have been more honorable. And how can you imagine all these allegations against him? And he's still the Minister of Defense. I mean, that is unfair. This man could have been honorable, stay aside, face all these allegations, clear his name, and then come back and continue to do whatever he wants to do. Whether he wants to remain as minister or he wants to do something else, that would have been more honorable as far as I'm concerned. If I'm in that position, believe me, I'll put in my resignation letter.
Well, Your Excellency, he has not been nailed by the EFCC. So why do you think he should have been probed before taking up the appointment?
In May last year, 2023, there was this allegation of misappropriating over 70 billion naira. And when we took over, we realized that 70 billion was a child's play compared to what we have. And all this information are before the EFCC. And I wonder how this guy was cleared by the security operatives before he's confirmed as a minister. And the same thing I will say. If I were him, I will still face EFCC to say that, look, let me clear my name. This is a father of 41 children. For goodness sake, what kind of legacy is he going to leave for his children when you're being accused of misappropriating this amount of money? So he should have come out clean. Face EFCC, clear his name, and then come back and continue to do whatever he wants to do. Honestly, that would have been more honorable. But look at it. We're still waiting to hear from EFCC. The case has been ongoing for over a year now. And this is people's money. We need this money in Zamfara with all the challenges we're facing, with financial constraints. At least let's have some of this money back into Zamfara so that we can work for the people of Zamfara State.
You know, a lot of Nigerians are monitoring that. A lot of Nigerians are monitoring that case, and we'll see what the EFCC will come up with in the coming days. But let's stay on that.
I hope something will be done as quickly as possible because it's taking too long. For how long will this continue? It's over 1 year.
Your Excellency, you know, I would like you to react to some allegations that have been raised against you on this particular program, because about 4 months ago, former Commissioner for Information, Ibrahim Dosara, was here on Politics Tonight. He said to me that you're an absent governor, and that is one of the major reasons banditry in Zamfara State will continue to escalate, because you're not always in the country to take charge. He also alleged that you're fighting banditry as a one-man show, because former governor of the state, who is now Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawalle, had offered to help you in all forms, but you have rejected his offer. So how do you react to this? Is there an element of truth in what he said?
Alhaji Mokie, let me make also a very categorical statement here. In Nigeria today, if there's any governor that stays in his state, Dauda Lawal is one of those governors. I spend all the time in Gusau City. Your correspondent can confirm that. I only come to Abuja when there's a need for me to come here. That is number one. Number two, this is a state that is facing too many challenges, ranging from infrastructure, healthcare service, education. Where would I get all this money to be able to take care of the people and bring out development for the people? Most times, I have to travel. Now, with the state of insecurity in the state, it is extremely difficult for anybody to drive 7 hours from Abuja to go to Gusau and attend to me. I am the one that is looking for help, and I need to be out there. Dosara is one of those guys that I don't even really have time to discuss him because he's not at my level. I'd rather speak with his principal, Matawalle, and I challenge Matawalle. I'm ready to come any day, any time to have one-on-one conversation on the issues facing Zamfara State. That would have been much better. But I can't bring myself solo and be discussing about somebody like Dosara, who was the Commissioner of Information under Matawalle. They wanted me to really stay home, not be able to do, after squandering all the resources of the state. Look, Alhaji Mokie, by the time we did all our analysis, we realized more than 250 billion is missing in Zamfara State. And these guys have the audacity to go to court to say that they cannot be charged. If there's anything, if you know your claim, why would you go to your court and say that you cannot be investigated? I mean, it's crazy. It's only in Nigeria that such things happen. And they were able to get even injunction to say that their administration should not be problem. How can you do that? I mean, if you don't have anything to fear, please come and face it. Come and answer the questions. So forget about those, Sarah.
Your Excellency,
I'd rather have his principal to come here. Yes.
Since you became governor, has Bello Matawalle offered to assist you in this fight against banditry in whatever form?
Somebody who has been accused of involved in banditry activity, what kind of help is he going to bring to Zamfara State? What value is he going to add to Zamfara State? I'm dealing with the Minister of Defense, that is Badaro. I'm dealing with the National Security Advisor, as well as the President. So who's Matawalle in that regards?
All right. Governor Lawal, let's take a break, and when we come back, we will continue this conversation. Please stay with us, everyone.